Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to another session here with Landmark Investments to show you this evening some ideas and strategies on how to become financially free, or how to obtain financial freedom. So the first thing I like to do is I like to talk a little bit about the company, about myself. I've been doing this business now for 27 years this year. Right, so we're here to help people achieve different things in life that relates to money, wealth, and retirement, so that when you stop working, hopefully soon, you've got enough money to sustain yourself to be able to do the things that you do want to do. So I normally begin with trying to help people understand where they're at in regards to their life financially, and most importantly, to understand why is it they are there and not where they want to be. And one of the main reasons I say to people is that none of us is more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe that they are free. Free meaning free financially, free from banks, free from debt, free from taxes that we pay, because we live in a system that is being created by the people that have got all the money and power that control just about everything that we do in our lives, from the education system to the financial system in terms of banking, to the taxation system, to the medical system, to everything relates to, including food. So we need to understand this, that we've been programmed to believe that this is what we have to be, right? Where what we say to people is that we need to open our minds to believe that we're not. So we're not slaves, and we're not people that are here put into this planet to serve and work for banks and the tax office. We're here to have a time so we can enrich ourselves with the things we need to know to grow, so the next generation can become better than us. So I've written a few notes and things in regards to this topic here: dream, believe, and grow rich, because I really believe that most people don't dream about great things in life, and that's why they don't achieve great things in life. But if you just dare to dream a little bit and dare to understand that what you don't know doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but it's only because you don't understand how to get this that you don't dare to achieve the things that you can achieve. Because most people have got the power, and I've got the ability, and I've got the faculties to achieve many things in life, but they normally get scared by things that they don't know. That's a fear. That's a fear that holds people back, and fear is nothing else than an imaginary event that's believed to be real. But once you confront the fear will disappear from everybody, because fear is nothing more than just an illusion. Okay, so what we do here is we want to talk about the financial freedom. So what is financial freedom? To me, is the ability to be able to sustain ourselves and sustain the things we love about our lives. So when we stop working, we decide we're not going to work anymore for money, but we'll work because we want to work, okay, but still be able to buy the things we want to buy, to go to the places we want to go to, and to be able to give the things we want to give. That's what I call financial freedom. And these two words are very important, because one talks about financial, the other one talks about freedom. But if you talk about freedom first, then financial freedom, we need to understand as well that we're not totally free, because we're trapped by a system that has got us working, paying mortgages that we should not be paying for that length of time, that we've been sold the idea that that's all we need to have. And understanding once we become free of the thought that we can pay mortgages quick, that we can lower the taxes that we pay, that we can create wealth in a very fast way by utilizing the system, then we'll have the freedom to make choices for our lives. Understand as well that as the technology keeps growing, right, they're trying to get us to become even more dependent on governments, on institutions, on systems, financial systems, that are going to make us more and more enslaved to the system, because we're going to be too dependent on them. And the reason why we become dependent is because we don't want to think too much. We want the establishment to give us the thing. We want them to do the thinking. We just want to follow. But the minute we start to give away our freedoms to do our own thinking, that's when we'll lose complete freedom of ourselves. Now, the financial side of things, obviously, as I'm talking here, is about money. It's about how we achieve money, how we get money, and how we borrow money, because we also need to know that even the banks help us, as well as banks are the ones that slave us to keep paying them interest. So in regards to this part here, talking about, I guess the important part is to know for you is that what the ideas I want to be presenting here today. These are my opinions. This is my experience through 27 years of working in this arena of investments and helping the public see themselves in a better light financially, so they can take their step forward to try and achieve whatever they want to achieve in their life financially. So there's not any kind of advice, personal advice or any general advice. It's just my opinions through the experience I've had myself in my life, and as well as the clients that I've got. Now, what I want to do now is I want to present to you so that you know that anyone can do this. Anyone can become financially free. I want to present you now a very small video of some clips of people that have gone through the system that are very happy that it made our company, so that if anyone can do it, anyone can have 10 properties within 10 years, anyone can have multiple properties. So if anyone can do it, like I said, one person will do it, many can do it. So I would like to now share with you a small video so you can see what could happen to you if you decide to take the step forward to understand how things work.
You feel at home with this company, like Landmark Investments.
I let them know what I wanted, and they provided me the options, and this place was the perfect option for what I wanted.
So that's 7 properties overall, which has been pretty exciting. We never thought we'd be able to do that.
Plan for 1, 2, 3, and within a year we got 4 with Landmark, which is really, I thought it's not doable, but yeah, Landmark make it happen.
They make it like as if it's very easy because they know what they're doing and you can trust them. From here, from two properties, actually the aim is to pay off the first house, and then from there we would like to go home.
Landmark got pretty much like everything in there, from the finance, accounting, lawyer, real estate. So it saved me all the times like to go through one by one. I just go there and then like everything's done.
Listen to what our needs were, and yeah, we've been more than comfortable to take that step to move forward. So we managed to secure 8 properties within the first 2 months of being here.
I would have no hesitation in recommending Landmark. In fact, I've already done so.
4 houses I bought it and without any extra payments, so I didn't know about this. And I've been so happy with this explanation, and it's unbelievable, yeah, but it became true. So initially I've been scared, yeah, definitely, but now I'm very, very confident. Yeah, thank you to Landmark.
So far it's been pretty great with Landmark. We've had 3 properties managed with Landmark, and it's been great. A smooth process, very quick from start to finish. So I'm very, very happy and highly recommend Landmark to anybody who's looking at investing in property. Landmark is the company to go for.
Okay, is that ready? Okay, so there we are. So you saw there some of the clients that were lucky enough to meet us and take the step forward and learn the things that they needed to learn so they could make progress in their lives to be able to enjoy now some kind of understanding how things work, so they can be going forward in understanding how their future will be better. So financial freedom to me is finding the dream that we all want to make reality and never stop until we get it. So in order to do that, we need to understand as well that you need to find it. You need to go looking for answers, looking for how things work, looking for how you can achieve what you can achieve. Because I normally tell people that most people don't know how to double their income. And that's one of the reasons why they don't the income that they would like to make. But there's many, many different ways to double your income or quadruple your income. It's just that most people are looking at things through a filter. And the filter is through the knowledge that they have. But we take the filter off and say, what else can be out there to achieve financial freedom in terms of, for instance, earning more money, paying off the mortgages quick, or buying multiple investment properties? Because if we put things through a filter of, for instance, how we identify ourselves with that, we might be people that are, working for an IT company, IT professionals, or accountants, or engineers, or doctors. Right? When we take we tell people, we ask them, you want to double your income or quadruple your income, they would try to work it out. They say, well, how can I do it? That's because they put themselves in the situation of, well, if I'm a doctor, if I'm an engineer, how could I? But I never quantify or qualify the profession in terms of doing this, because I used to do things, but we're only looking at from one barrel instead of looking at it in a panoramic way. The same thing when we try to create our own wealth, doing it ourselves, we get normally advice and guidance from our good intention free advisors, which are our friends, our families, our neighbors, co-workers. But in that good intention free advice, there's a very dangerous word there, which is called free. Because if it's free, you need to understand that nothing is free in life, but you need to pay a price, because if it doesn't have a price, most likely it doesn't help. So when it comes to financial freedom and trying to get guidance about money, finance, and all these things that are part of creating wealth and more money, most people just very easily they receive advice, or they open their minds to advice from people that we know, people, our friends, because it's easy to talk with them. But if we analyze where they're going, we most likely find out that they're not really going in a very, very clear, straight way to their goals and objectives. It's like saying, I'm going to go and I'm going to sort tooth, but I'm going to go ask my friends to see how to get rid of it, how to fix it. Well, we don't do that. We just need to go to the dentist. But because money is kind of an elusive thing that no one can pinpoint how to really make money, so we start asking around. But at the beginning, you ask around, but once you realize that the advice, the free advice, we need to go to professional guidance. You need to get some guidance from people that actually get paid. You pay to get advice, at least some kind of information. But most of the things that are out there now in the public domain. So I tell people now that financial ignorance really is just a choice, because you can choose to become financially free. Now, if you look around for things, you'll always find things. But if you don't look around and just get advice and guidance from people, well, you're going to be stuck in getting what they get. So we say that if you want to have something you never had, you also need to do things you never did. And what I'm talking here more clearly is in regards to thinking, how we think about things. Because in the thinking, we have the creativity. In the thinking, we generate the ideas, the inspiration. But if we don't look, how can you find things? So we're going to talk about here some of the most most common goals that people want to achieve in life at the beginning with generating wealth, what they want. And the most important thing that normally people talk about is paying off the mortgage sooner. Because at the moment, as you know, rates going up, and people create a lot of stress because, obviously to stretch the dollar from paying the mortgages, from the cost of inflation, and things going up, and all this uncertainty. Okay, so that's one of the most important things people are looking for at the moment. The other one is to know how to reduce taxes, because people understand now that the tax system here is quite heavy towards people that earn money, especially on the higher incomes. It's quite a substantial amount of taxes people pay, and they want to know how to minimize the tax, because it's important to know that the money you earn doesn't belong to the tax office. It's only taken from you by the tax office because you haven't put it up your hand, which means that you haven't asked for guidance, you haven't been looking around to find things. And the other one is that most people as well like to know about how they can create more money, make more money, so they can help their children and get them educated, so that they can have better chances in life. And the other one is how to make more money. How can we make more money using the free time we have? Because we sleep for 8 hours, we work for 8 hours or thereabouts, and then we've got 8 hours of free time in which we spend a bit of time to maintain ourselves and all the things we need to do. But then there's a certain amount of hours that we have for free. And most people want to do those 3 hours to do what's easy and convenient, sit around and talk things to the same people they always talk to, watch TV, and that time is invaluable time that we can, if we quantify and put a dollar value, it's there's lots of money in there. So there are many ways to do things, but these are the most common goals. And today I'm going to talk about paying taxes and paying your mortgage fast and reducing taxes, because this is what's going to be able to clearly identify more money coming inside in your household for to make you feel that you've got more money because the money will be clearly in your bank account. So I want to talk about a bit about this because this relates to these two institutions, banks and the tax office. This is the oppressor. This is the oppressor that has got us involved into this slavery of 30 years paying a mortgage. Okay, and we said that the oppressor's power and purpose is the maintenance of ignorance in people. Okay? And so that means that they don't want us to know how to pay their mortgage faster. They don't want us to know how to reduce taxes because that's how they keep us going to work doing the same thing every day. Right? And when we do this for a certain period of time, then we realize what is it that we do here? Yeah, why is it that? How come this mortgage doesn't disappear? How come we just gotta keep paying taxes? How can we struggle? So we start to become a little bit restless as well as to this thing. There has to be a better way because we know inside ourselves that there's always a better way to doing things, but it's only when we have the courage to go on finances and solutions when we get those answers and solutions. So again, I say here that this is part of the slavery of people is not understanding how banks work and how the tax office works. Because once you understand the different products the banks have, the different applications that the tax office has, you'll be able to see that these two combined can help you quite a lot, quite substantially. In fact, I'm going to show you here and demonstrate how these two institutions with the products and applications can help you build a very, very, very substantial amount of money in your bank account that you won't even worry about interest rate. Because when you look at interest rate, what that does, it hits basically your home mortgage, but it doesn't hit your investment mortgage because the higher the interest, the more tax deductions you get. But most people panic because they got the wrong product. So we say to people that we're only trapped by the limitations of our beliefs. Beliefs means information, and the information that comes into our mind is only because we open our ears and minds to information that comes in to ourselves, and the other information that comes in through the conditioning, or what do you call it? The programming. Okay, and sometimes from our own environment. When we're young, our families, maybe our friends, and that they keep doing things, and because it's easy to copy, we end up doing the same things they do, right? And the other one is the information that we are paying attention to. So we also need to know that what you pay attention to always need to stand guard of your mind. So also need to know what information you're receiving, where you're getting it from. So for instance, if you're reading papers and watching TV, you should stop that because that will not get you anywhere. And because if you look at everyone doing this, they all do the same kind of thing, that they all kind of, it's like a uniform thing that they wear on their sleeves, right? So you need to know, okay, the goal and the wisdom of life is not in listening to the news, reading the papers, is about in searching in things that are good for you and meaningful for you and for your families. So how can we change our beliefs or the information that we get so that we become higher and learn more to do more? And that is by changing the source of the information. If you change the source of the information will be different, your belief system will be different, so therefore you'll be able to do much better things with your life and more substantial things and more meaningful things for your life, because we don't have a very long period of time in life. As you know, probably the working life is probably 65, 70, maybe a bit more for those that are really keen and really enjoy what they do. But we need to know also the financial life in terms of what they can afford to borrow is from the banks. It's around about 65. That's when the bank shuts down the system. So okay, no, I think you're too old now to borrow because how are you going to give the money back? So we've got a short window of opportunity, and we need to make it count because the time goes past every day. Something happens, right? And you get distracted by things, and then you do the same thing every single day. So in here in this audience, I'm not sure how many people are here right now, but who would like to know how to pay their mortgage within 5 years? Who would like to retire financially independent in 10 years or earlier? Or who would like to know how to double their income or reduce their taxes by a minimum 30%? Now, all these things are possible to everyone. So this is not something that you have to learn, something you have to go to school. Right? Anyone can do this. It's only if you become interested to know and to learn about it that you will learn it. Because if you don't look, you won't find. If you don't know, nothing will be open for you. So in here, there's an opportunity for everybody to find more information. Like I said earlier, we've been doing this now for 27 years. So 27 years we've been able to perfect some kind of blueprint so people can see. And we don't mind sharing this information for free to be able to see and prepare a plan and a program for them. and see how this can work. After that, you take it home and look at it and say, okay, this can work, this doesn't work. It's up to you, right? But I mean, for what you've seen before with some of those people in the testimonial video, you see there's some very interesting people there that also came in very scared at the beginning, but they actually did lots of things, and we've got over 10,000 people that joined our company, and we've been able to help. So if one can do it, anybody can do it. I'm just here to see if I can get as many people as possible involved in learning about this for themselves, because you are going to have a great life or not a great life, and it's only going to be done for you by yourself. And this is through the action that you will take or the actions that you will not take. So, just first of all, have a dream, have an idea, but follow it. Don't give it up. Don't stop halfway through, because if you give up on your dreams, you basically give up on yourself. And as I said earlier, I said in many other webinars before, that the distance between where you are right now and where you want to be, okay, is you need to know that the currency for that is only belief, okay? Because, what we do here is not for you to say, well, I want to see what this person says because I want to see if it works or not. The goals and dreams that you have, okay, you must not know how they work, because otherwise they're not goals and not dreams. Because if you want to know how they work, you already would have had it, right? So the idea is you find a goal and a dream that you don't know how to get to. So you go straight into the unknown, right? Because once you realize that if you set your goals really high, you say, I want to go for this goal, I don't care what I have to do. Well, that means if you face that goal, you will always achieve it, because once you're into it, you'll find that the people will come to you, right? The ideas will come to you, and then all the different paths and roads that can zigzag around will line up into one and merge into one direct destination and track for you to run on. And you will see these things here, some of the things that I talk about. Some people say, well, how does it all work? Well, I don't really know how it works, but it works. All I know is I know that our program will give you a blueprint, because this talks obviously about taxes, interest rates. It's quite easy to calculate. We've got a very good Excel program to show you, but it's about your goals and dreams. And, you should not know how to get it. You should know, I'm going for that. It doesn't matter how I get it, I'm going to get there. So I've got this, just to probably highlight on this point here, put on this slide here, which I want to show you, this one here, right? So I'm not sure if you know about this picture here, but this picture is from the first person that went to Mount Everest. Now this guy here, okay, used to be a beekeeper. Okay, he wasn't a mountain climber, he was a beekeeper. One day he said, I'm going to go to Mount Everest. Of course, he didn't know how to do it, right? So, but that's what he did. So 1951, he tried, he failed. 1952, he tried, he failed. 1953, he got up there, right? But he didn't know how to do it. But he said, I'm going to go there, right? I'm going to do it. So these are the kind of things I'm talking about. Now, of course, I'm not saying everyone go and climb a mountain, but your Everest could be, I want to become a multi-millionaire by the time in 10 years' time. I want to pay my mortgage off within 3 or 5 years. I want to know how to double and triple and quadruple my income. So this can be your Everest as well. So you can say, okay, I want to go and get there. I want to go and find the answers, because these guys, well, didn't know how to do it. So they have to find the people, they have to make, have lots of conversation, lots to talk to other trackers and things to see which side of the mountain was easier, which side of the mountain was less risky. The same thing with you. You need to know that if you set up a goal that you already know how to get, then it's not a goal. There is nothing that you are going to learn by playing small. It's like Nelson Mandela said, there's no passion to be found in life by playing small. You got to play big, because if you aim for the stars, okay, you aim for the stars, you might not end on the stars, but you're going to end up certainly right on the moon, right? If you're in the moon, you might end up on top of the tree, and so on. So you need to know that these are things that are very important to be able to access the wisdom of understanding how things work, is by actually getting out there and do it. Right. So I want to talk here a little bit about why we are where we are and why we're not further out down the track. And this comes to the condition, the program. So when we're young, our parents send us to school. You need to go to school, need to learn the basic things in school. You're going to need to remain in school, then you go to university to get a job, right? And then you get married. And after you get married, right, what happens is you're going to end up with a mortgage, you end up with a house, you end up buying furniture, obviously on credit, you end up buying a car, you end up in credit, and then you end up with this great big mortgage that before you got married, you used to go party, you used to go holidays, and all of a sudden you can't do it anymore because you got this great big mortgage to pay, right? And then you realize, well, I've just given up all my freedom now. to pay the mortgage in one house. Of course, you're going to live somewhere, but you need to start to think about, well, if I got this mortgage, it could be $500,000 or $600,000. You have to realize that you have to earn 3 times that much money to be able to pay it off for a period of 30 years. That means if you borrowed $600,000, you're going to have to give the bank around $1.2 million, right, in repayments over 30 years. But in order to pay the $1.2 million, you're going to have to earn $1.8 million because taxes will take away the money. So what you're doing is not only pay 3 times the money, but also you have to do it over 30 years. Now, a lot of things happen over 30 years, right? Interest rates go up, then go down, then you got inflation, or depression, or recession. You got all these things, and there you go, like go up and down, and all of a sudden you start to panic. Every time that something happens, you worry. Now, what people do when they get old, they always worry a lot because they don't have control of their finances. They don't control their life. Now, why do older people like children? Because children got no fear. Children got no fear. Everything is beautiful. Everything is wonderful because they're still not fully programmed into the life that we all have as we get older, because things go wrong. So you can't do this, you can't do that. So remember this, nothing is wrong and nothing is right. It's all what value or meaning we give to those things. But the thing is that, you can achieve anything you want to, but only when you believe you're going to do it. Okay? So now, debt and taxes, what I spoke about earlier. Now, once you end up in this situation of, having a mortgage, having all these debt, credit cards and whatever, right, then you're stuck in this prison without a door. Right? You got a prison cell, right, without a door, right? And when you look around, all your friends, relatives are all in the same prison cell, right? Stuck for 30 years paying this mortgage. Because everyone's doing it, you think, oh, it must be the only thing because, all these people are quite smart as well. They all have the same thing. So there must be the only way. But I can tell you it's not. There are ways to do these things here much quicker. I'm going to show you a bit later down the track here in these slides, right? A few more slides, and you'll be able to show you that it's not the only way. But the thing is, we've been given the privilege to be able to make choices. We're the only, the only creature in this planet that can make choices. Everyone else runs by genetic codes, but we can make choices. So if you can make choices to stay there, we'll stay there. If you can make a choice to get out, you will find a way out, right? I'm not sure if you ever watched the movie The Great Escape. The guy that kept escaping, right? But he just kept escaping to one they actually escaped. But all the others say, well, we can't get out of this place, so they just remain there. So if you believe, you can do it. If you don't believe it's going to happen, it will never happen for you. Right? So this is some statistics from the government that says, out of 100 people that retire, right, 1 is wealthy, 4 financially secure, 3 is still working, and the rest of us are all like, doing it hard, right, living with some kind of government assistance, which is not much, or some family assistance that takes us through retirement. Now, if you want to live like this, it's fine, follow everybody else. But if you want to be in the 1%, less than the 3 or 4%, okay, you need to start to do things different, because only when you do things different is also when you get a different result. Okay, so now we've put this in here in 2 categories, right? One is the followers, and the other one is the seekers and the leaders. So the followers are pretty much everybody, right? Because we all look at what everybody is doing, and as long as we do something the same, we believe that we're strong in numbers, right? But if you look at where they're heading, where these people are heading, is not in a good place, right? So you always go on the opposite side. So everyone's going to the right, you go to the left. You'll find out that there's more treasure to the left than on the right. It's not as easy, okay, as doing the things that are easy and convenient where everyone is doing. It's hard, but it's necessary, because you'll find that all the things that are not found, okay, is where everything is. But if you follow the track that everyone's following, everyone's been there, nothing much happens there, right? So this is a very important part. You need to seek and look for your own answers for yourself, right? So replace the income you earn by working into the income you receive by investing. So you need to know how to invest to be able to do this in here. Now, if you think that investing is risky, right, you need to wait till they give you the bill for not investing, because most people stop at doing things because it's risky, right? But everything is risky, right? Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going to work is risky, right? I mean, in the end, if you think that everything is risky, we say to people, well, just give it a go. Give it a go, because the only way you'll know the answer. Because people will say things, you listen, and you'll forget. If you look at things, you'll retain that information for a short time, and then you'll forget. But you'll only be able to understand it if you do it, because that's the only time you can understand things, when you do it. Okay, and what we talk about, we're not talking about investing in racehorses, plus lotto tickets on casino chips. I'm just talking about investing in real estate. Now, real estate is a traditional investment that everyone loves, everyone likes, and everyone knows that it goes in value, in certain periods of time, right? Every 8 to 10 years, doubles in value in Melbourne. Sydney maybe a bit faster because more people, more cash, and more taxes, so people invest a bit more aggressively there, right? And other states a bit slower because also population, right? But if you look at this information here that I put in here, which is profits from banks. Now the biggest 4 banks in Australia back in 21 made $20 billion. Okay, 20. That's 4 banks now. There's 62 banks or thereabouts operating in Australia, right? But 4 of the major banks made 20 billion. Now the other, 58 banks, probably not, maybe 20, 30 million. So all these billions of dollars are made from a bunch of people working, maybe 5 or 6 million people. It's a lot of money, right? So you need to know that and this is some of your money. And you must know also that the reason why they make so much money is because most people have got the loans that makes them the most money. Okay, and they will never tell you which one makes the less money for them, because the idea is to keep you ignorant. But now there's a way out to do this thing here, and all it is about chasing the information. So if you know what this talks about, how your money travels through your fingers, right? So when you go to work, the first 1.5 days you work for the tax office, the other 1.5, maybe close to 2 days you work for the bank, and then 1.5 days is for yourself to maintain and sustain the lifestyle that you want. A bit of money for savings, 10% goes in super, and so on. Okay, now talking about banks, I've got here two different charts of, with 2 different interest rates. You'll be able to see here that if you, for instance, owe $500,000, $100,000 to the bank, and you're earning, you're giving paying at 5%. Okay, over the 30 years, you're giving over $900,000. By $966,000. If the rates went up to 7%, you're going to give them over $1 million, about $1.2 million in repayments, right, for $500,000. The interesting part is, if you look at the first part here and the 5%, then after 5 years, if you're giving the bank, $2,685 a month, you still owe them around about $450,000. So you've only paid off around $42,000, but the repayments you would have made would have been close to $180,000. So where's all that money? Where did all that money go? It's all interest. And if it's 7%, even worse, because at 7% you would have given the bank much more than that, and you owe them more because most of the money you pay just for interest. So this so-called principal and interest loans, they're not really principal and interest loans; they're interest and a bit of principal, right? But of course, banks can play with words and that, and people, in their mind, they think it's principal and it's small interest, but it's exactly the opposite, right? So you need to know as well that in the last 60 years, interest have gone up and down, but more up and down. But back in 1960, the rate was 5%. By 1990, it went up to 17%, right? Where half of the business in Australia went broke, right? And of course, families would have lost a lot of houses. Most people would have lost many, many properties. Who can sustain rates of 70%? Just about nobody, right? And then it went down again, and after we began with this pandemic, right, and went down to around 1.9%, and now of course there's only one way, and that is up. And when it goes up, we still don't know what it is. I'm predicting 10%, but who knows? Right, at the moment we're around about, some banks are charging 8-9%, right, for different brand products, but we don't know what's going to happen there, but we need to be prepared. Now, got an example here when a person, an occupier person has got $500,000 debt, right, earning around about $11,000 per month net family income, mum and dad, with an expense of living expenses $2,500 per month. Right? So when you work out what that money is that they have to pay the bank for 30 years, if the rate never went up, they'll pay around $1,008,000. But what they have to go to earn to pay that loan is about $1.3 million. Right? So can you imagine, from 500, you have to go earn $1.3, $1.4 million. That's if the rate doesn't even go up, and that's the 5% rate, which we know is going to be much more than that, right? So this is where people have signed up for, and of course, no one told them this, but I'm just giving you here the numbers. Okay, and of course, now it's all in the open, so you can go and do it yourself and you can check it out, right? Now, by having just one single property investment, where you might have it already, right? If you don't have it, you can get one. Right, you can pay the mortgage off in here, as you can see here, year 5 or beginning of year 6. Okay, you go from $500,000 down to 0, right? So, and that is by using one investment property, right? So if you can see here, focus on the rate, the owner occupier balance. The first year is 500, then it goes down to 397, then 292, and 1,800. Okay, and so it gets to zero, and the interest payable, it becomes from 25 goes down to zero within 6 years. Now, all that's using all the different bank products, tax applications that are actually available to everybody. But most people don't know about it because nobody talks about it. Banks don't talk about it. Nobody talks about it, but everything is in there. So this is the information I want to share with people if they decide to come forward to say, okay, please show me how this works, and I'll show them because everything is there. Everything I talk about is in the public domain. It's just that people are not interested enough into finding out themselves, but they just go listen to their friends and relatives and things and see, does this work? Does it work? Man, the people are not professional. Right? So now if you did that, then what would happen is now your cash flow will move around a bit different, right? It will retain a lot more by you. So that means that only Mondays you work for the tax office and only Tuesday you work for the bank, and then you probably spend the same money for living expenses, obviously, but also you end up with more cash in your bank account. That's the green that you see there in the bar graph there. So you have a lot more than before. The other one was a very small amount of green of savings. Now it's a lot more, right? And this is not by doing anything more than anyone can do. And sometimes people have got investment property and they're still struggling because they've got the wrong product, they've got the wrong way they're doing the taxes. They got everything is upside down, and especially now that rates going up, people will feel the struggle, will feel the pain. Okay, so why people buy investment property, and the reason is there's many reasons, but there's obvious ones are that you have extra rental income. That'll give you a reduction in taxes, which means more cash flow to you. Again, the property will have capital growth and appreciation as it normally does for the last 20 years. You can expect that. Historical, you need to look at all that, right? But also will help you reduce the mortgage in your house because there will be a lot more cash flow going in towards your home loan instead of giving it to the bank. Okay, so a bit of data here for you as to what Australian prices on property prices have been for the last 100 years plus. Back in 1800s, properties were around about $10,000. Now we've kind of hit it, way more than that. But you can see the growth has been quite rapidly from around about 1970 right up, and that's the reasons because in 1970, the Federal Reserve Bank decided when they're not going to print money to be backed by gold. They just print money, right? So we'll just print money. That's it. So that's what was adopted everywhere. So now we just print money. We just are not even print it anymore. We just put it in the computer and that's it. And we believe that it's real money, but it's not. Right? And because of that, there's more money. It's free. There's more lending. There's more credit. Again, with credit comes more pain because you got to pay interest on credit. But in any way, and now obviously as well, because back in 1916 there was 1.6 billion people in the planet. At the moment, it's 7.5 billion. So it's been quite a lot. Big numbers going up in population, and as you know now, some people are saying, okay, we need to reduce the population, right? But this is what's happening. So a lot of ideas in there for you to think about. Okay, now with this company here, Landmark Investments, the core services are to help people see ways to how to get rid of the mortgages within 5 years and have real freedom, right, from the financial shackles the banks got us all involved in, right? Recover some of the lost taxes that you're paying. Okay, unnecessarily, because once you learn how to do this, right, money's given back to the tax office. Also, give you an idea how you could do what those people that you've seen before in the testimonials can have between 5 and 10 properties within 10 years and, retire comfortably to know that you're going to have more money, right, to be able to sustain the lifestyle that you really want. And the other one is also to improve your ideas and vision about what you can truly do. Because, if you believe that you can become, basically someone that can have as much as you think, you will do that. But if you think you're limited by what you know, and you also become limited. So more things for you to think about as well there that, you are the person that you say you are. So if you say you are, unlimited, limitless person, you become like that. If you think I'm limited because this is just me, right, I'm just doing this, well, you just stay there because you believe is what you think about yourself. Okay, so some of the added value services we provide with our strategy and our services, right, is number one is, like I said earlier, help people to see the vision. We help them put their goals and objectives very clear. We always help them as well to find a good reason why you want to achieve those goals. Because if you don't have a good reason, then you don't have the ignition, the spark to be able to start the engine moving in this. You need to know the reason is stronger than the want. If the reason is valid, the reason is meaningful, you'll get going. But if it's not, you'll be stop and start, and you change very quickly. And also we provide through our network of highly qualified consultants, which are not part of the company, but these are the mastermind people that we use, You get tax guidance, you get guidance for finance, you get guidance for legal work with property. Ourselves, we also provide a 10-year rental support if you don't have tenants for long periods of time, right? We also back up the rent as well. We provide people guidance as well on how you could invest the money you've got in retirement super into properties. There's a different option to invest, if you qualify through the different government rules and regulations, and also provide the strategies, like I said, on how to potentially double and triple, quadruple your income. So next steps for you is to probably, think a little bit more about, how you can find a way out of, what you're trying to get out and to achieve more, that if you want to progress your life into a better financial future, right? So you can find ways to do this, right? We're open 6 days a week, and I would like to, invite everyone that would like to know how things work. We share the ideas, like there's no charge or cost to share all our ideas. I only to schedule a meeting, and then we'll be very happy to help you to see how we can, you can achieve your financial freedom. Okay, so alternatives to these, you got 4 different things you can do with these, right? You can do nothing, right? You can get guidance, you can pay someone to do it, right? And also, you can do it yourself, right? But the one thing I can tell you is that now that you know that these things are possible, as you saw some people, right? Financial freedom for you now is a choice. If you decide to take it, it's there. If you decide to stay where you are, it's also there. All right, so if you've got any questions, please let me know. If not, we will call you. You can call us, and we'll see how we can help you the best way we can, right? With your goals, objectives, and reasons, and we'll be able to show you a way out of this financial struggle that you might be going through, or whichever way it is that you want your help to come through to you. Okay, so anyway, it was great to see you again, and we look forward to see you next week with a different topic. But in the meantime, stay well. God bless you, and look forward to see you soon.